Hello and welcome to the secret world. I'm here to talk about skill points and the ability wheel. I was just answering some questions regarding these things from some beginners, so I thought this would be a good way to get some info out. Firstly, let's start with skill points. Less stuff here, it's easier for people to understand. Also note that skill points do come slower than ability points for anyone really interested in that stuff and hasn't played the game yet. This is the important bit. Talismans. Talismans are your armors. So you need to spend points here to be able to equip higher level armors. You start with quality level 1 and to be able to even equip what the quests next give you, quality level 3, you need to spend points. Point costs are cumulative, meaning to get third point open I need to spend 1 plus 2 plus 3, that's 6 skill points right there. I would suggest, well, getting ready is my suggestion. As in, if you can get quality level 5 gear from your quests, by the time you get to those quests, you should be able to wear quality level 5 gear. That's how I do it. Because otherwise you end up with having to quest in an area which might be kind of difficult for you in like older gear, like without being, if you are not being able to equip the gear you get from those quests right away. That is obviously your choice. Now armors are easy, there is only one row of skill points. Let's talk about the 9 weapons this game has. Here you have 2 rows. And to be able to equip quality level, let's say 5 weapon, I need to spend points to get there. But it does not count both of the rows together. Meaning I can't even equip quality level 3s or 4 or 5 stuff if I just spend 1 point in both of these. So to get quality level 5 stuff, it takes 1, 2, 3, that's 6 points right here. And if I do that again on the next row, that's 12 skill points already spent. So figure what you do with your weapon. Let's say I'm going shotgun and hammer. I want my hammer to be survivability, so I spend points only in this row. And I wanted my shotgun to do damage, so I spend points only in this row, so I can equip the stuff as it comes across me. Once you have enough skill points, feel free to burn through all the rows, obviously, and whatever. And don't be afraid to spend that 1 point on a certain weapon you want to test out. You feel like testing out a new weapon, spend 1 skill point, go buy a quality level 1 weapon. Obviously you would then have to purchase some abilities for the weapon from the ability wheel. I'll talk about that once we get to the ability wheel. As regards to testing out stuff, you might even create a new character for this if you did not do it the first time around. Slight bit into your opening, after you make a new character, you get into a room where you choose your first weapon out of the 9 weapons. There, once you equip a weapon, you can test out the couple basic abilities of that weapon, without actually having to spend skill points. You can go there and do that, with a brand new character even. Okay, let's talk about ability wheel. Firstly, you have inner wheel for every weapon. 2 different categories with slightly different abilities and whatever. And you need to fill both up before you can go to the outer row. That is the very basic gist of it. Note this number, 175. You can store up a lot of ability points. This number here should already tell you that you can actually get a lot of ability points. And they do come relatively fast. Okay, sometimes it doesn't feel like it, like when you are waiting to get 34 ability points after already spending 27 on the previous one. Yeah, it doesn't feel like they come fast enough, but they really do come fast. Okay, so inner wheel abilities are very basics for the weapon. Like fist has both heals and damage abilities, and one of them is for healing and one of them is for damaging. That sort of basic stuff. Let's talk a little bit about bridging before I move on. Like, you choose your 2 weapons. You can only wear 2 weapons at a one time, or whatever. Anyways, Bridging means that you pick your weapons. Let's say I pick Chaos and Blades, for example. This is an example. So then I use as a bridge passives from some other weapon, and that means being a bridge. As an example, this here is a bridge almost everyone uses. Lick your wounds. Passive ability, with cost of 1 ability point you can get this passive ability, and it heals you very little every time you attack. You don't have to even have skill points spent on a claw, fist, claw, whatever, same thing, but it works with every weapon with just 1 ability point. Helps your soloing. You heal yourself all the time for a very little amount. Now, as we are talking about the passives, let's talk about these slots down here as well. You can have 7 active abilities and 7 passive abilities equipped at once. One huge restriction there. You can only have 1 elite passive ability at once and 1 elite active ability at once. That means from all of these, you can only have 1 elite passive and 1 elite active. So pick those things wisely. Okay, I think that's about bridging. It's a really easy concept to understand. You just find passive which works with what you are trying to do, and you go with it. Let's talk about synergies between weapons a little, because all weapon combinations work. Some of them just work a bit better because they synergize together better. Like a certain weapon causes some sort of a state, and another weapon exploits that state. States are things like afflictions and hinders and impairments and so forth. Easy is right here in elementalism. Chain reaction passive causes every chain ability you use to cause afflicted state. Affliction is damage over time. And then from Zero Crossing there is Blaze ability, deals more damage against afflicted targets. And there is even a passive which causes Blaze to have 100% chance to critically hit afflicted targets. That right there is a synergy. You use chain abilities to generate affliction, and then you use Blaze to deal damage to the afflicted targets, and this one to even turn it into 100% chance to critically hit. You can find that sort of synergies between every weapon in some form or another. Some of them share more synergies than others. Some share less. There are a couple synergy types. One of them are those states I mentioned, which are the afflictions and hindrances and those. The other is triggers, which are critical hits, penetrating hits, actual hits. They might do something like whenever you critically hit, you do an extra effect, like cause affliction on a critical hit. That way, if another weapon's passive gives you an increased chance to critically hit, there is synergy right there. And then there are subtypes. Subtypes I don't feel is the best way to go about things, but even that might be workable. Subtypes are the sort of like strike attacks, chains, blasts, bursts. They are like a different method of dealing the damage. Like blast and bursts are 2 different kinds of area effect abilities. So find your synergies between your weapons and go with it. Experiment some too, because experimentation is good, especially in a game where over time you can have absolutely everything unlocked. It is going to take a long time, but you will be able to have absolutely everything unlocked if that's what you want to do. Okay, lastly, let's talk some bit about roles, because this is the question I keep getting the most. Healer and tank. There are 3 tanking weapons in this game. Chaos, hammers and blades. All of them do it slightly differently, and you don't have to go like full mode hammer and chaos or blade and chaos or blade and hammer to be a tank. You can do hammer and shotgun. That is kind of good combination, even they have some nice synergies with each other and so forth. But the main point is you need survivability to tank. And that's what Blades, Hammer and Chaos already give you within their abilities. They give you synergies with the survivability. Healing, assault rifles, blood and fists. Those are three different types of heals. Assault rifles are leeches, basically you deal damage to enemy, heal and friend. Fists are heal over time abilities, and blood is barriers which protect against damage. With the healing I feel it's a little more of a like pick two weapons if you want to do like a real serious healing. Pick two weapons which both heal and go to town with pure healing. I don't suggest doing this though if you are playing solo. If you are playing in a dedicated group or in a group duo setup like all the time, then you might want to play a full mode healer. Otherwise I would suggest going one weapon for full mode healing and one weapon for damage to help your solo play. Obviously it is up to you. As I said, every combination works. Find your synergy and enjoy. Also, the main point is enjoy the experimentation, because this thing gives you a lot of choices to experiment with. Find what you like and go with it. So I hope that was somewhat educating and somewhat helpful, and thank you for watching.